Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are taking a look at Demonic Fighter of Steel Metal Cooler INT. So obviously the Metal Cooler army has received their EZAs and we're going to be taking a look at the INT version now. Target Goku category lead of 77% with Ki +3, all types lead of 40%. He greatly raises defense like all the other coolers on his super attack and causes supreme damage to the enemy. He changes tech key spheres to rainbow key spheres with the character as the first attacker at the start of the turn. He gains attack and defense of 40% per Wicked Bloodlines category ally on the team up to 200%. He recovers 10% HP at the start of the turn while recovering an additional 5% HP at the end of the turn if you obtain 3 or more rainbow key spheres. He also gains an additional attack and defense of 10% per key sphere obtained when there's another ally whose name includes Metal Cooler attacking in the same turn. So whereas we've seen that the coolers are kind of differentiated into offensive and defensive versions, some of them gain defense, some of them gain attack. The INT one is kind of the middle of the road. So whereas some of them gain 25% defense or 25% attack, he just gains 10% of each. We also notice with his ability it's a heal, obviously, so he seems like he's kind of the midway point between the two kind of concepts of coolers. In terms of his link, he has auto regeneration, fusion, deficit boost, brutal beatdown, thirst for conquest, strongest clan in space, shadowing the limit. And in terms of categories, he has resurrected warriors, movie bosses, wicked bloodline, artificial life forms, terrifying conquerors, target Goku revenge, corroded body and mind, and accelerated battle. We're going to be trying him out on one team, that is the 200% team of Metal Cooler, and we're going to see just how good he is. If he's anything like the other coolers, I'm going to assume that he's going to be looking pretty damn good. Now obviously, I think it's very clear to say that all of these coolers are pretty solid. If you've seen any of my previous videos about the cooler units, I think overall they look very good. I think they look very exciting. I think they are solid units. This cooler has a decent kind of passive. Obviously, people will, I think, want more defensively orientated coolers, but I think with this metal cooler, he is kind of a cross between both worlds. He's going to hit a little bit harder than the defensive coolers, but he's going to be a little bit weaker than them defensively. And on the same token, he's going to be stronger defensively than the offensive coolers, but he's probably going to hit a little bit less offensively. Right now, 170,000 defense is pretty good. He will gain an additional attack and defense of 10% per key sphere. So if you gain those key spheres, you will notice that he does not have the stat change. This is because it will only kick in when there is another Metal Cooler attacking in the turn. So there is something obviously to be aware of. You do obviously need the other Metal Cooler in the turn for him to gain those stats, but right off the bat, pretty solid defense, pretty solid attack stat. Obviously not the highest attack stat because he's not the most offensively orientated cooler, but not the lowest defense stat. Either way, we've seen them sit at around 150,000. So yeah, overall he's a nice kind of midway point, a good juncture there. In terms of his special ability, which is the 10% health, I think it's nice. It's always nice to gain 10% health back, especially when you already have 5% HP recovery in your passive as well. So you're looking at 5% HP recovery, 10% health, and then of course he can regain another 5% at the end of turn if you have those rainbow orbs, which is something that's pretty solid, I want to say. So obviously we have Metal Cooler in the turn now, so we're looking a little bit higher on defense, got double supports here, so this is pretty much a best situation kind of thing. We've got all our links as well. I would put the Strength Cooler first, but chances of him double supering and killing Cooler is pretty high, so I'm just going to avoid that awkward scenario and rather just get a look at the raw attack stat of this Metal Cooler. And 3.4 million is pretty good, not to mention how much the defense would be at that point. Would be pretty high. We gained quite a few orbs. We would definitely be well over 250, maybe even 300k. So yeah, he looks pretty solid. 10% HP regain, 5% at the end of the turn because we got the rainbow orbs. Very, very decent stuff. I think he's, if not a unspectacular cooler, because he's kind of a jack of all trades between the two kind of pairings, I think he is pretty nice as probably the one I would use the most, because he's not super defensive, he's not super offensive, he gives health back, and generally speaking he looks pretty solid. I think overall he's maybe my favorite one so far, although I think the AGL one is pretty up there, because the evasion can really help in a lot of events. I've already had it help me in quite a few fighting spirit challenges, etc. So I do quite like the AGL Metal Cooler. I think he's a pretty boss kind of dude. So yeah, but yeah, overall I think it's very solid stuff, really. In terms of links, and we've discussed it a couple times with the Metal Coolers, but realistically, if you want to focus on them being main units, you want to link them up with other free-to-play coolers or the LR Metal Cooler. Otherwise, just rather leave it and let them float, and they'll be fine as a floater. They've got Thirst for Conquest, Strongest Clan in Space, all very strong link sets. Shattering the Limit for pairing up with other free-to-play units. They've got Brutal Beatdown, which is fairly common amongst movie bosses and Wicked Bloodlines units. You've got obviously Auto Regeneration, which helps if you're going to link with the LR Metal Cooler or pretty much any other Metal Cooler. And then you've also got the specific link set, which is Fusion and Deficit Boost. Now, do these guys gain a lot from link leveling? Well, yes. If you are going to get Fusion and Deficit Boost active, if you're going to link them as free-to-play partners, they'll get quite a lot. Thirst for Conquest will give them 50% defense, Fusion will give them 10%, Deficit Boost gives them additional 5% attack, Sharing the Limit 5% more defense. All of a sudden you gain 30% more defense and 5% damage reduction, which is pretty good. Honestly speaking, it's obviously pretty helpful, and it'll make them a lot better defensively. But that's at max link level. Should you link level free-to-play team? Probably not, although you will probably passively link level them quite a bit, considering you have to easy A all of them through an easy A area. Considering a lot of new players will use this team, I would be surprised if getting them to link level 10 is not something a lot of people do naturally. And I think they are a very good team. I think they benefit a lot from link leveling. But I think overall they are just a very nice synergistic team. You can't really struggle with using them, and I think that's always a good thing. So yeah, overall I like the Cooler army. I think they're great. They could have maybe made one team have like a tank, or one of them be a tank, but overall pretty good. That's it from me, and bye.